Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. Yeah, we're technically talking Disney because Disney owns Marvel, and we're talking Marvel. How do you like that for categorization, BlueDragonFive?
Works for me.
All right. So, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about putting this under Main Street Cinema, but Main Street Cinema is more for movie reviews and movie news. So here we are, talking Mr. Banks. This is like this year's equivalent of Disney buying Star Wars. This is huge fan news. This is huge news in the world of geek culture. Why don't you take us through it, BlueDragonFive?
Okay, folks. So you just want me to just go through the...
Just pour it all over us.
You mean just, open the can right now?
Open Pandora's box.
Okay, folks. Let's not bury the lead. Let's just share the huge news. Huge, absolutely, positively, huge thwipping news. It has been announced, the long-awaited day. The whole, can you feel the brand new day? That moment has finally arrived. Spider-Man, the man who can do whatever a spider can, our favorite wall crawler himself, Spider-Man, has finally found the little loophole, has crawled the wall, found the little crack in that wall, up to the Marvel side. He is now able to cross over and say hello in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Whew! Huge sigh of relief. Oh my god, let's give that a round of applause. Yes, the nightmare is over. The mediocrity and the muddled reports and the dealings, it's all over, BlueDragonFive. It's all over. It's a new day. It's a sunny, bright future ahead of us as comic book fans.
We should be careful saying brand new day because that gets people worried with Spider-Man. One more day, brand new day.
God.
Words. But the point is, folks, this is a huge win. Let's take it through the history again as to where we are today. Still, we're not out of the woods yet, kids. We got to take you through the timeline here. Let's go through it.
So I actually want to ask you a question, Blue Dragon.
Sure. What do you got?
Because I have kind of a controversial opinion on this.
What is your controversial opinion?
When they rebooted The Amazing Spider-Man, were you for or against the idea of doing a reboot as opposed to a Raimi Spider-Man 4?
I'm sorry. So when Amazing was first announced, are you saying would I want to see a Spider-Man 4?
Would you have preferred doing the reboot, or would you have preferred Raimi Spider-Man 4?
Well, the direction Spider-Man 4 was taking at that time was a little strange because there was these things. Essentially, the idea started off pretty good. That okay, they introduced the Vulture. Sounds pretty good.
We still haven't seen that damn Vulture yet on screen.
Well, we saw some wings.
Yeah, that's about it.
And he almost made in the Amazing. He almost made into Spider-Man 3.
Oh, right.
But
yeah.
so it started to sound really promising. Vulture's in there, and we're gonna get Black Cat. Felicia Hardy, which is really cool. But then the Black Cat is always the logical progression of Spider-Man. That it's awesome.
Of course.
But then they're doing odd choices. Like I think Anne Hathaway was supposed to be in the movie. I think she was almost certainly cast as Felicia Hardy. But then they were going to do weird choices.
That would have been really ironic.
It would have been. But here's the thing. Here's why it took some weird turns that it started turning me off to it. Instead of being Black Cat, she would have been Vulture's daughter, or like the Vulturess or something.
Yeah, right. I remember that. Like, wasn't she going to be Vulturess?
Yeah, Vulturess. I don't know what the relation was, but it was going to be...
right.
That's when I started, like, I'll give him some leeway. That sounds really strange. That's like kind of like some choices made in Spider-Man 3. One of those choices. Like, why would you have Felicia... Name her anything, but Felicia Hardy, why would you do it? The point is, that made me a little shaky. I was like, I'll roll the dice. I'm one of the guys who's nicer to Spider-Man 3 than most. But
I am one of. I like Spider-Man 3 in the same way I enjoy The Room. Let's just put it that way. I think what that makes James Franco absolutely perfect to play Tommy Wiseau. Now that I think about it, because I think James Franco is just as ridiculous in Spider-Man 3. I know that face. And, of course, BlueDragonFive, oh my god, my favorite Spider-Man 3 moment is the whole, how's the pie? so good. I beat that quote to death when that movie came out. I was like, hey, ask me how the pie is, and my friends would be like, how's the pie? And I'd be like, oh, it's so good. It's
well,
so
after
good.
all, well, my favorite Stan Lee cameo is in that movie.
No, but I was just under the opinion that, you know what? That movie is like a fucking asylum version of Spider-Man. So Raimi really messed up Spider-Man to the point where I didn't want to see a sequel. I did not want to see a continuation of the Mary Jane character specifically because I felt like her character was incredibly unlikable. I didn't want to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man anymore after the dancing and the emo stuff. They killed off the most entertaining thing about that franchise, which was Harry, so I just wasn't interested. They even tried to kill off Venom. And don't even get me started on Venom. We'll get into that later. But, so I was actually of the opinion when they rebooted Spider-Man, they announced Amazing Spider-Man, I was like, you know what? Good. Let's take this in a fresh direction. This will give us a chance to get a new Venom and not have to work off that ridiculous shit that we got in Spider-Man 3. Let's do it. Let's take this through new lens. And then they announced Mark Webb. I love 500 Days of Summer. I thought that was an inspired choice.
Well, just the
And
name.
they announced Andrew Garfield. Again, I love Social Network. So I thought all the ingredients were there. So what do you think?
Well, yeah. Well, when Amazing Spider-Man was announced, you know what I thought? It's funny. I had the same view of it going into this and Man of Steel. Literally the same experience. Like I always thought, because again, end of the day, I love the Raimi films. Gave some great Spider-Man. It brought Spider-Man to the screen.
Oh, Spider-Man 2 is still absolutely one of the greatest superhero movies ever made.
Exactly.
Even after all that's come after it.
Exactly. I mean, the point is, the Raimi trilogy, they give us some great Spider moments and brought them to the screen in ways that were just, at the time, were glorious. At the time.
Mm-hmm.
However, so going into it, I always thought, like, I'm kind of a stubborn moviegoer. Like, basically, until something sells, I'm gonna be like, no, it's never gonna work. Basically, my Dragon Ball Z experience. I'm not gonna go into that. Anyway, so my point is, so going into Spider-Man, I was saying, okay, I'll keep an open mind, but to me, it'll be like when you're reading like an Elseworlds comic. It is like an alternate version. Like they changed some things around. Basically like something not as groundbreaking as the Nolan films, but it'll be like a fun thing on the side. Because I'm just looking.
Yeah, they wish.
Because I remember going into the looking at the promotional stuff, like seeing Spider-Man. The big turnoff for me was that of me just like writing it off. Like it to be something on the side was seeing Spider-Man with the gold lenses in the eyes. Because they had the silly idea, and they've even poked fun at this on the sequel and on the behind-the-scenes stuff, saying, "Yeah, we all know what we were thinking with just giving him like a realistic costume. But still, it looks like an expert seamstress making this thing." The point is, they tried with the whole basketball material and for the spandex, and they said, "Yeah, it was kind of a wasted effort." But I mean, it didn't look bad, to be honest. I'm just saying that it was just like a little touch to me. It signaled it's different. So I mean, it'll be fun, but it'll be different always. But when I watched it, it blew me away. I was like, actually, I think this might. I don't know. I did like the Raimi films, but
don't
this is
say
really.
It's better than Spider-Man 2.
Let me.
For
finish.
God's sakes, don't say it's better than Spider-Man 2.
Would you let me finish?
Okay.
I still always have a nostalgic place in my heart for Spider-Man 2, so it's there. But I think maybe Spider-Man story-wise might have had a little more to it. But I always have a soft spot in my heart for Spider-Man 2.
You're tearing me apart if you think The Amazing Spider-Man is better than Spider-Man 2. You're tearing me apart.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say it was better. I'm saying I think the story might be. I don't know. The story had a lot of great stuff in it. Basically, it felt more like the. I'm saying any weak points that Spider-Man 2 had, I think Amazing Spider-Man took, and they still were missing elements that 2 had. Basically, they're both missing parts.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
Points. I love them both. Points. It was hard for me to pick, but I'd probably go like Spider-Man 2. However,
like I would say the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is probably more up to the same quality as the original Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I think it's a little better than the. Again, with the nostalgic lens on there. First one was amazing when it came out there. But when Amazing Spider-Man...
The first one was like... I remember as like a 14-year-old kid when the first one came out being like, oh man, this movie is like a dark and gritty adaptation of a comic book. It's like, no.
Yeah, but I mean, like when Green Goblin pulls out a Triton, it's a little silly. Seriously, where did he get that Triton? Why does he have a Triton? But the point is,
go there in the Hunger Games. Ooh.
The point is, Amazing Spider-Man had a lot of great stuff going for it. Again, the casting was great in that movie. That was the biggest.
Oh, absolutely! I'll give you props for that for sure. Everyone across the board did a good job.
Of course, the big thing it had going for the love interest a lot better than in all of the
course, of course.
So I'm saying it was always a toss-up between the two, and like at the moment, my purview of it always going into was like first.
I thought the thing that killed the Amazing Spider-Man was the villain.
Well, 2, but we're talking about 1 at the moment.
No, I'm talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 1. I thought the Lizard was a weak-ass villain.
Well, I mean, it's just, I obviously he was not going to eclipse Doc Ock. I mean, come on, that's a Lizard.
Yeah, but again, as a fan of the Spider-Man comic, I had a lot of expectations for the. Okay, first of all, it pissed me. I'm just gonna say it. It pissed me the hell off right from the beginning that they didn't keep him in the lab coat. I'm just saying.
No, look, I'll agree with you on the lab coat thing. That was silly, and
oh, it pissed me off, BlueDragonFive.
Because
my God, that was such a wasted opportunity.
Because they have him in the coats at places in the movie, and it's awesome, but then he loses it. But to be fair, logically, if you get into a battle, it's going to rip to pieces a lot of the time. But
I don't care. I don't care. I wanted to see the coat. I don't care about logic. It's a Spider-Man movie. Give me the coat.
Okay, look. The point is,
I'm sorry I'm making such a big deal out of it, but just aesthetically, it just I thought that character was just ugly.
Yeah, though I was never crazy about the lack of snout, but
yeah.
But look, the point is I made comrades because they did so much right in that movie, though. They got a lot right, and it did feel so much like the classic Spider-Man comics. That really won me over. The point is, going into the movie, like any movie for me, like first few watches, definitely it's going to be. I'm going to like it a lot more than really watching, really analyzing later on. So, I mean, first time I watched it, for the longest time, I was thinking, man, this is the best Spider-Man movie ever. Then, rewatching it, you find.
Okay, so let's.
Biggest weakness of that movie is that they cut out stuff which included Lizard's family and whatnot.
Oh God, yes! Oh my God, that movie on the cutting room floor was just an atrocity. Oh my God!
There was a whole deleted thing where Lizard ate Dr. Ratha, and Ratha let on that I know who you are, Peter Parker.
You mean evil Indian guy?
Yeah, evil Indian, Dr. Ratha. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what Spoonie refers to him as.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, anyway, so then we get Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, I mean, for me, it's always a mixed bag. We're not going to get into the whole thing, but.
I actually thought Amazing Spider-Man 2 was better than the first Amazing Spider-Man.
For me, I shared a similar view because I love so much of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought Jamie Foxx was good as Electro. I mean, I thought he was good for what they were trying to do with Electro. They weren't trying to make him some really dark, evil character. They were trying to make him... I don't know. I liked everything that they did. And I liked the powers that Electro presented. I honestly thought Electro was more creative than anything I could have thought to do with that character.
Yeah, Electro, don't get me wrong, Electro was cool, just they could have spiced him up a little with his motivations in the third act a little.
Sure, definitely.
That's all he really... For me, and also, when I rewatch, I think, again, really good casting all around for that, if you ask me. Same thing as before. Mm-hmm. However, I'll admit, I think the Green Goblin stuff is a little weaker rewatching it.
It is, yeah, and I feel like that's something that I'm not sure, but do you know if anything about that got lost on the cutting room floor?
Well, I know there was a big alternate ending thing where basically there was a really it ended really differently initially, but they wanted to end hopeful with the end. So initially, Richard Parker was revealed to be alive, and he was the one who got Peter out of his funk instead of the Aunt May chat. So instead of him chatting with Aunt May, he's grieving at Gwen's grave, and when Richard Parker comes by and says, son, it's me, and he has a really realistic. It's a well shot scene. He's angry at his father's, what happened here, and pretty much he drops the phrase "great power, great responsibility." And he mentions, your mother did die, but they didn't reveal a lot. Just points like I came here because I knew you need me because when, like he isn't keeping tabs on Peter. Point is,
Right.
So the point is, it was like they're opening up for definitely for more exploration, but they want to end on a more hopeful note. Like, and there's like he's shoehorned into the last minute to get him out of this funk.
I think that kind of speaks to a lot of the weakness of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Was that, my God, is that one of the most like incomplete sequel bait stories I've ever seen.
So to be fair, they did for the most part, they did wrap up the whole Richard Parker, the whole Parker mystery. So maybe they got a sense that maybe we're not coming back for a third one.
But then did they have to end it the way they did?
I'm serious. I know how it ultimately ends, but like, what ending particularly are you referring to?
Literally the final shot with the Rhino.
Oh, that! I thought you meant the whole Parker mystery thing. I thought,
No. I'm talking the actual movie. Like, if they didn't think they were coming back,
well,
maybe that's not the best call.
Well, remember the plan
is going to be one of cinema's famous unanswered cliffhangers.
Well, we know who's gonna win.
Not necessarily.
Oh, come on!
Could have killed Spider-Man right then, and they killed the kid in the process. We don't know.
Don't give me that. The point is, like, Andrew Garfield, he knocked that ball again. They got the costume looking absolutely perfect. That is Spider-Man off. That was again. I
really bad for Andrew Garfield in all of this. I really do. I think he got a screw job.
I do too. I heard he may not been invited back because he didn't say kind things about the sequel.
Okay, well, you made... I mean, I thought the sequel was okay, but granted, there are a lot of things wrong with it.
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, the story for 2 is... because a lot of stuff's forced in. That's the only reason 2 kind of crumbles a little under the integrity of it. But, again, they have so much great stuff going for it.
Right. I mean, you and me were talking, like, I absolutely agree with you that in terms of the portrayal of the character of Spider-Man, not necessarily Peter Parker, I don't really think Andrew Garfield does a great Peter Parker, but that's up for debate.
Yeah, the
character of Spider-Man himself, with the wisecracks and everything, it was perfection in Spider-Man 2. It was just like the comics.
I mean, I was in the theaters rewatching every time we were watching a movie, just the Spider-Man parts. It encapsulates everything I love about heroes when Spider-Man's on screen, and it moves me so much. Like the thing with the kid, oh my God! And just I'm not going to go into the whole description, but just the shot when he returns, you see the cop's reaction to him. That just that gets me glassy-eyed almost.
No, that was a really good ending.
It's just because that just symbolizes you hear that thwip as he passes over the cop. It's like we got the perfect in Spider-Man 2. We get the perfect we get the perfect Spider-Man No More story. Well, of course, like not the reasons for it, but the loss of power, but still, the perfect Spider-Man No More. And here we have the perfect Spider-Man coming back. It's like their perfect marriage in that sense with Spider-Man 2s of him coming back.
Very true. Very true.
Anyway, so we're talking way too much about the Amazing. The point is, the Amazing Spider-Man had a lot of good stuff going for it. So I think Sony did. Everyone's a little harsh on saying, "Oh, Sony's killing Spider-Man." I don't think so.
I thought what Sony did to kill Spider-Man was take the franchise into all sorts of like crazy directions, which they still might take it, and we'll talk about that.
Well, yeah, that's the point. That they're not just doing it straightforward like they should. They were
right.
They were taking some chances.
You can't do a cinematic universe with just one damn franchise. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah, basically they were trying to be more.
You can do it with X-Men, but X-Men has a variety of different heroes and villains. With Spider-Man, you have a few really good villains and Spider-Man.
I mean, there were talks of a whole bunch of movies like in their cinematic mindset, like Black Cat would got a movie, and
the all-female Spider-Man character, of course, Aunt May.
Yeah, that's still ridiculous to me. Hearing that rumor.
What, Aunt May?
Yeah, Aunt May getting the movie like she's a secret agent.
I don't think that was actually real. I think that was a prank that went too far or something.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, come on. Anyway, so
but it sure led to a lot of fun internet jokes for a while.
Well, speaking of the stuff on the internet, so after the big Sony hack happened, it was revealed that, speaking of Sony trying to build a Marvel universe of their own and failing at it, there was revealed that in the Sony hack there were some emails going about plans of asking Marvel, why don't you guys do this trilogy, but we'll retain all the rights. Do like a reboot for the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy. And Yeah, basically, we'll retain all the rights and stuff. And that was just kind of shot down. It's like, oh, Sony hack, nothing happened. Ooh. And then Monday, this past Monday, we had a whole
Monday night, which is unusual because most movie news happens in the morning.
And you know the thing, it's funny about these headlines and the era we live in. It's like every time you see a headline about the big comic news, like it's always a rumor, it's never confirmed. But then a night like that, it's 8 o'clock at night, I think it was. I could be wrong. 8 o'clock.
How many times did we hear that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be Doctor Strange?
He is Doctor Strange. It's not confirmed. It is. It's confirmed. I don't know. Anyway, so then they finally say, they've always been talking about reading Spider-Man, but then realize it's officially confirmed. Now I got to check this out. And it is officially confirmed. So, folks, here's the official statement. We're getting to stuff we do know. At least we're convinced we know. So Monday it was officially confirmed that Marvel can finally use Spider-Man. So this proposed timeshare plan on Spider-Man is in fact a reality, and they got into the stipulations. So essentially, Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man. They've agreed to finance it, produce it, and they have final say. So Marvel basically will have definitely a lot of creative input and whatnot. But at the end of the day, no matter what Marvel does, Sony has the final say. Like, you can do this or you can't do this. The big question that remains, which we'll get into a little bit, is who is going to specifically distribute it. Sony says they'll distribute it, yet from what I've seen, it looks like Marvel may be releasing it along with their films. I don't know.
Okay.
I just assume. Well, we'll get into that in a moment. But the point is, the movie is being made, and Sony will have the name say they'll be signing the checks, but Marvel's doing all the heavy work, which is great.
Well, that's what matters. That's
exactly,
and
the
also fact that it's
flip
in
side,
the cinematic universe, that they can reference the cinematic universe any way they want.
And the flip side is that Marvel say he will appear in a Marvel film, which he's going to appear in an upcoming Marvel film, which is great. And he will also lead his own reboot, which has been confirmed for July 28th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And also works both ways. So again, I'm not putting my stock in this, but we'll see. Sony can also definitely make references and use the Marvel characters.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
So we'll see how far that goes. I just assume it means whatever. Again, I don't know who specifically these going to be released under. I thought it was just going to be entirely Marvel, but I guess Sony is still, because their names are on it.
I mean, I want it to be entirely Marvel.
Yeah. The point is, we got to compromise here, folks. It's better than nothing.
Right.
Anyway, so here's the stuff that we're pretty sure we know. Okay, so apparently Mark Webb will not be returning to direct the Spider-Man reboot.
That's fine by me.
Okay, but we like Mark Webb.
I mean, I like him, yeah, but the best parts of that movie were the romantic comedy stuff, and I think that kind of shows with him as a director.
Yeah, exactly. He gets the relationship dynamic down to plus the interpersonal stuff he does pretty well too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
the Uncle Ben stuff.
I want a more action-oriented guy this time around.
Fair enough. But also the lizard fight was pretty cool. You gotta admit.
Yeah, but I'm still bitter about the way the lizard looked.
When he's crawling on him like a spider, that's just so cool. Okay, anyway, so no Mark Webb is looking a lot like Andrew Garfield was not contacted to return to the role.
No,
and now,
it looks like he's out.
From what I hear conflicting reports. At first, I heard he's not coming back at all, or he's been unofficially let go. The point is, they didn't ask him back, and they're looking at other guys. So it's looking like Garfield, regrettably. And I was, for a moment, I was like, oh please, if it's shared, it's timeshare. It means he can come in both movies. He can be in both movies. That's awesome. Unfortunately, our wonderful Spider-Man is apparently no more. Get it? What I did there?
I'm cool with it, though, because, as much as I liked Garfield, again, I'm not the biggest fan of the way he portrayed Peter Parker. I just love how he played Spider-Man. And also, we've got to keep in mind that this is a new cinematic universe that we're dealing with. Yeah. And since we already have the image of Garfield in this other weird pseudo-cinematic universe that Sony was trying to set up, I think it's best to start fresh. I really do. Yeah,
but I know. For me, again, I personally just love him all around for the role. But yeah, you're right. Spider-Man was definitely the most fantastic part. But yeah, I was liking this Spielberg. Point is, I wish we could live in an era where movie audiences are smart enough to realize, oh, hey, listen, we like this guy. Let's see, let's bring him in there so soon people can delineate reboot from regular.
Mm.
Anyway, so and also it's definitely a reboot. That's been confirmed. And also,
I just hope to God there's no origin story.
Well, let me get into it. So Spider-Man will be in his high school years. So regardless, he's gonna.
What?
Well, no, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's not entirely.
Well,
bad
I mean, it's not a bad thing if he already has his damn powers.
Yeah, I mean, it goes.
Start the movie with his fucking powers. If they don't, I'm going to have an aneurysm.
Of course. Everyone, the consensus is, yeah, we don't need to see the origin story. We
don't.
We'll get into that in one moment.
We don't need to see Uncle Ben getting shot. We don't need to see the origin story.
Right, save it for the check.
Start the movie in the aftermath of Uncle Ben's death. How about that?
Okay, we'll just put a pin in that, Dave. We're going to get to that in a moment, okay? Just put a pin in it. So the point is, Spider-Man is going to be in high school, so a lot of Spider-Man's best stories had when he was in high school.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. Again, I told you it goes both ways, so Marvel can also appear in Sony, so it can be Marvel. Okay, so here's some questions, just in terms of. Okay, so here was the exact wording, which makes the exact wording was Spider-Man is being brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which implies that it will be a Marvel film with just the Sony name attached to it. That's the hope I have.
Yeah, right.
I mean, basically, because what it sounds like, plus they've just slated time, and also the fact that they moved the Marvel films back a few months. So basically, after 2017, when the movies like from 2018 on have been moved back like approximately 6 months for each of them to make room for Spider-Man. So with that in mind, it sounds a lot like Spider-Man will be the movie will be released alongside the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it takes place within the Cinematic Universe.
Sure.
So basically, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy thing where we have Sony in the movie somehow.
Yeah.
The point is, I assume like in the credits it'll just say, it's also Sony Pictures produced.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm hoping. I think that's the easiest way to go with it. So that's not confirmed though, so we don't know.
Now, one thing I did hear that's confirmed, and I'm surprised you're not bringing this up, or are you waiting?
Well, I don't know what we're talking about right now.
The Cap 3 news?
Oh, yeah, well, we're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay, so, Sinister, let's talk about the big other question remaining about Sinister Six and Venom.
Oh God, this is like the big elephant in the room right now.
Okay, so let me say it before we get into our thoughts, Tiki. So okay. Sinister Six and Venom, as far as I can tell, because again, folks, bear in mind it's really crazy right now with this huge revelation. So people are going back and forth on the stories of what's confirmed, what's not confirmed. It's hard to tell. Just take my word for it. I've looked everywhere to try to get a straight answer. Here's what I got. So supposedly, at one point, they were still in production. Basically, supposedly they're still in production, but without Kevin Feige or Marvel, which implies they're under the old agreement. These two. However, let me finish. I'm not done.
Okay.
And also, it was implied there's no Spider-Man, but also then I'm also hearing conflicting reports of they're completely gone because Amazing Spider-Man 3 is Kaputski.
I don't want it. I don't want it. It's completely pointless.
Right. So you're saying you don't want either.
It's literally spinning off a movie out of a dead franchise.
Exactly. The question is
why do it?
The true question remaining is they were slated. Sinister Six is slated to come out next year. So the question is, have they shot anything yet? Which I would say no.
I doubt it.
I'm gonna speculate no, because we would have heard some more stuff about it by now.
Right.
And also,
we don't even have any casting for Sinister Six besides the people that were in Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah, and even that, I think intentionally they didn't give out any casting information because all this stuff is going on behind the scenes. So I'm gonna make the ruling now that none of it's happening.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, because I think it would just be a mess if they tried to actually release that.
Because I'm figuring if they're not doing Amazing Spider-Man 3, which again, all this stuff they could always go back on, who knows, but what it seems like to me, Amazing Spider-Man 3 will be canceled in favor of a Spider-Man reboot in the Marvel side of things, which we're all for. And with that in mind, no Amazing Spider-Man 3 means no payoff for Sinister Six, which also implies poor little Venom, no movie.
I mean, like I said, it's like at this point the Amazing Spider-Man franchise is dead, and all the stuff from Sinister Six is going to come out of Amazing Spider-Man 2. So it'd just be so weird to me for them to literally spin off from a dead franchise.
At the very least, end on a high note of like, hey, Spider-Man's charging the battle. We know he's gonna win. Yeah.
No, we know Paul Giamatti's just going to murder him.
Okay, now here let's talk about the potential film Spider-Man will be appearing in. So, Civil War, obviously, Civil War in the. Would you like to tell people about Civil War, Tiki?
Well, you might be a better authority on it, but Civil War, yeah, in the comics, Spider-Man is kind of the guy that's in between everything. We got the Tony Stark side of things, we got the Captain America side of things. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to play the conflict, because we don't know if it's going to be the same conflict as in the comics or not, but, so, you know what people have been speculating on with this Civil War thing?
People have
been speculating on the fact that perhaps they might have two alternate. Keep in mind, this is just total like open book speculation, no basis to go off of. But people might have even been half joking that Marvel had two scripts in mind for Cap 3, one with Black Panther at the center of the action, and one with Spidey at the center of the action.
That'd be funny.
They were talking about that a lot on AMC Movie News.
Well, so here's the good thing.
I mean, what do you think? It's like, here's my thing. I'm kind of hoping that with Cap 3, I'm hoping that Spidey comes into the scene as like this young, arrogant, sort of like new sensation of superheroes, and he's really popular, and the Avengers are kind of like, wait, who the hell is this kid? You know, he's not under S.H.I.E.L.D., he's not part of the Avengers. We don't know him. We don't know anything about. So it's like I really hope that they kind of like play up Spidey's arrogance and kind of play up the fact that he's a little bit of a wise ass, you know. And just here's the thing, BlueDragonFive. I really hope that it's not just like, okay, Spider-Man's an Avenger now, because that would be a slap in the face to the comics.
Okay, let me go through this. Okay, so obviously Captain America 3 has been labeled Civil War, which is awesome, and of course the big elephant in the room has been, wait, Spider-Man has a huge role in that story. Where is he? Wait no more, kiddies. He's in the universe. However, because of Spider-Man's absence, the big rumor, as you said, Tiggy, is that Black Panther will be filling in for his role, because he will definitely be in the movie. He'll be appearing for the first time in Marvel Universe in that movie. Might be have a bit of an intro built up in Age of Ultron. We'll see. But point is, Civil War has a huge role for Spider-Man. However, I never for a moment I was a little worried about Civil War because it's a big thing to adapt. First of all.
It's like what, like a year's worth of comic storylines into one movie.
Just the hardest thing about that movie is that technically Iron Man's the bad guy, and we all love Iron Man. So it's a really tough thing.
Right, that's what I'm going to be really fascinated by. Yeah.
And plus, the other thing is that most likely this will be Chris Evans' last movie, so death is implied.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. We don't know if he's going to die or what they're
I hope he dies. I hope he dies.
I know. I don't hope he dies, but I mean, he's most likely.
I'm just saying from a dramatic point of view, I think that's a good way to go.
My biggest fear for Civil War is that, you know, we have two big stories, the whole saving of Bucky and also all the Civil War business going on. So I'm wondering if you can fit that in 2 hours. But here's the other thing, speaking of that. So the big worry among this is, okay, we got Spider-Man, maybe it's too late. Maybe that's horrifying news. Maybe it's too late for Spider-Man getting on this action. However, from what's been revealed, this April they start shooting the movie, so technically nothing's been shot yet. So there is time.
Okay.
There is time, and worst case scenario. And worst case scenario, they pull a Loki in Thor 2: The Dark World. Loki had very little scenes in that movie, but then they rewrote. They did reshoots, introduced a little Whedon charm in there, and they brought him in there. And so there is always hope for Spider-Man to appear in Civil War, which is what everyone's hoping, and everyone's pretty much assuming he's going to be in, because why squander that big an opportunity? However, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be really, I'll give Marvel my car keys if I, sorry, I don't even have that. The point is, I will give Marvel all the credit in the world. in whatever they want to do. However, I think it'd be a big mistake to do an exact adaptation of Civil War Spider-Man, because you're introducing the Marvel Universe the first time. This will be his first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right, yeah, that's the thing.
If he's in this movie. It'd be a big mistake if the first thing you do is have him a pre-established, unseen relationship with these two guys and have him unmasked in front of everybody, because that kills him instantly.
Okay, I totally agree, and that's why I'm kind of thinking that I do want to see him as kind of like an up-and-coming hero that the Avengers are kind of taken aback.
I'm in a similar mindset, Tiki. Let me get to it. I'm in a very similar mindset with you.
Okay.
Thing is, again, I think the moment I do not want in this film whatsoever. It's a good moment in the comics, but it has a lot of stuff built behind it. I do not want a rehash of the moment from Iron Man of like, hey, I am Peter Parker. Who? To quote the Galaxy. No, I do not want that moment because it has no gravitas behind it. Because we know Spider-Man, but the world doesn't know Spider-Man yet.
Right.
So the thing is, what I'm hoping they do in place of that, I still want Spider-Man to serve a role in that. I think I know how they could do it.
Okay.
I think it should be that Spider-Man, he's the one. Sorry. I think he's got to be the neutral party, the peacemaker between these two. Like, so again, it shouldn't follow Civil War exactly because it's a lot to fit in 2.5 hours of like, oh, they both meet Spider-Man. He has a viewpoint for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man has to switch sides through this story. So he's with Iron Man, then he switches to the Cap side, and that's one story in itself. And then you have the other Bucky, and then the ending to Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, there's three huge stories to fit in the 2.5 hours max. And I don't think it's in the cards. I think the smart thing to do is make Spider-Man the neutral party. Like he's the young kid coming in, and basically, maybe you're right. Just have him be the young kid coming the optimistic side, being affected by these two giants who he knows and he respects, and he knows along with the rest of the universe knows.
Right.
Oh yeah, Captain America, I like that guy. How could I? Basically, Spider-Man be the audience, and he'd be the moral compass in this movie, saying, "Guys, why are you fighting? This is nuts."
Okay, I totally see where we're getting at. Okay.
You see what I mean? It's like he should be the audience's viewpoint of saying, guys, you shouldn't do this. And also maybe Black Panther can be the alternate for whatever side he may be. So maybe they do kind of a Texas twosome here of like Spider-Man, he's with somebody. Like it's like almost he and Black Panther kind of co-opting these guys. They're like he's with them, and then they're not taking sides, just being the neutral party for each. But then they switch to get to the other viewpoints. And these two guys are kind of working together almost.
Gotcha.
You know? It's like Spider-Man, he's like, oh yeah, hear this new one. Like at the beginning of the movie, maybe the Captain America and Iron Man are buddy saying, oh yeah, you hear about this Spider Kid? Oh yeah, I heard about him. He seems promising. Things Avengers Hero? Nah.
Yeah.
But then throughout
he cannot be Avengers material. At least not yet. I am so dead set on that.
And I would like, and again, I think we'll know. I think we'll have a better view of how Spider-Man may factor into this after we see Age of Ultron. But I think maybe the big thing I'm really hoping for Spider-Man in the cinematic universe, big thing I've really been campaigning for since the beginning with these guys. I want to see a street-level hero, which is definitely Spider-Man, which we're going to get with the Netflix shows, which is a great sign.
Sure.
But mind you, all the Netflix shows are going to be set in Hell's Kitchen. Mm-hmm. So Spider-Man would be the rest of New York, which he has been in the Sony movies for all intents and purposes. So what I'm hoping for is like after whatever events happen in Age of Ultron, presumably New York and then the rest of the world getting a little destroyed, Spider-Man swoops in and basically pointing out to these guys, you guys have been kind of out of touch with this whole Age of Ultron business and whatever war you got going on here. You're kind of forgetting about the little people here, and that's what I'm here to do. And then he kind of shakes them all into realizing it's about the little people. The ground level people. It's like, this is the guy going around busting his butt to save the people on the street, not the big life-ending threats.
Right.
Like a reminder of what they're fighting for, and what they're fighting for, I assume, instead of identities, because really you only got two masked characters in this movie, Black Panther and Spider-Man, and Daredevil, should they introduce him.
That'd be a nasty proposition, yeah.
Basically, only 3 masked heroes in the entire, not enough to start a war over. What I'm thinking is it's going to be for accountability, especially after Ultron. Definitely going to be about accountability.
That's that's definitely what's going to be on their mind.
Shield gets taken down. This whole Ultron business breaks out. Someone has to. The superheroes have to be known and be held accountable. Like government has to be directly.
God knows at least one Avenger is going to have to bite it.
We'll see. But the point, you see what I'm saying, though? It's like instead of being identities, it should be like the registering, definitely keep the Superhuman Registration Act going, but it'll be a registration for like the government has say in what you do, and like they can keep tabs on you. And Captain America would obviously, as we've seen in Winter Soldier, has issues with that sort of thing.
Sure, sure.
So the pieces are there, and Iron Man realizing, yeah, I'm out of control, I need to be held accountable, especially after what happened in Age of Ultron, presumably.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, we're trailing off on Civil War, but the other thing we definitely know Spider-Man can be in, Infinity War. So regardless, I assume if everything goes well with this appearance, he'll definitely be in that. Because even if he doesn't appear in Civil War, he will definitely be in Infinity War, Avengers 3.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely where they're gonna have like, I don't know, for me the classic Spider-Man Avengers story is just him going after the Hulk. Do you think the stakes are gonna be like, I almost feel like him going after the Hulk is kind of like too low of stakes at this point with Infinity War. What do you think?
Sorry, about who going after the Hulk?
Spider-Man, because that's a classic comic story, is Spidey going after the Hulk.
Oh yeah, right, with the famous shot
of
the famous shot of Cap saving him.
Right, exactly, yeah. And that's what I want to see. My question is just like, would the stakes for just Hulk being on the run and Spidey, would the stakes, I kind of feel like the stakes would be higher than that in Infinity Wars. What do you think?
Well, Infinity Wars, I know how it fit into Infinity Wars. Like I'm saying in the comic, it's a great idea that Thanos, he basically snaps his fingers at the Infinity Gauntlet and he makes all the heroes on the planet appear so he can kill them.
Okay.
And basically, that's how you get Spider-Man. I've been saying that from day one. If Spider-Man were in the Marvel Universe, that's how he would be brought, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Just Thanos snaps his fingers and he's just there.
Yeah, with the rest of the Marvel gang, including, again, they're kind of being a little, James Gunn's being kind of a rebel
they're
right
all
now.
just like, hey, where have you been? And then Spider-Man's like, oh god,
Is that a talking raccoon?
With some electric guy. Just long story, man. Long story.
Yeah, and again, even though James Gunn's being kind of a rebel right now, it'd be kind of cool if the Guardians were also in Infinity War and basically, wait, is that talking tree?
You know what? If James Gunn thinks that he could just leave the Guardians of the Galaxy out of Infinity War, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry, but those characters are kind of pivotal to Thanos.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's like, why would you leave them out? And why would you leave out the opportunity to cross them over with all the other Avengers, especially in a two-part movie?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. I appreciate being a rebel, but come on, man.
So anyway, those are the two movies we can definitely confirm for me. Maybe if the way some people speculate it goes, maybe Thanos, he kills them all at the end of kills a bunch of them, end of the first part, leaving the remaining heroes, potentially Spider-Man, to be forming kind of a temporary Avengers of sorts with a bunch of ragtag heroes.
Okay.
Perhaps, like maybe here's a great idea: our Marvel Netflix guys, they take the stand for a while, the Defenders plus Spider-Man.
Yeah, we don't know what they're gonna do, so that's another good.
Maybe
good
that's set up for like the beginning of 2. They're going around helping people out while the rest of us are getting our bearings to stop Thanos. Perhaps
we'll see.
It's a war after all, man. A lot of wars. Civil War.
Yeah, Phase 3 is definitely the war phase. I'm hoping that Phase 4 they kind of lighten things up a bit. Go kind of like with some more loose, sort of like out there directions. Like maybe try to get another Guardians of the Galaxy act.
It's just so cool that we have all this stuff laid out for us, and then we're just even speculating on Phase 4 at this point. This is amazing. I've been dying to have a superhero movie with the word 4 in it that actually works.
Oh God!
Sorry, with the letter, with the not the letter.
Well, I think Iron Man 3 kind of broke our curse with the third superhero movie.
Yeah, but then it's kind of an ending to a trilogy, though, so there's still no 4. Everyone's been fearing the 4.
Yeah, right.
Including the Fantastic Four.
Oh God! Well, that's a whole other cinematic.
All right. So let's just we're kind of going. Let's go into our reboots knowledge now. So here's something that has been not confirmed, but 2 actors are kind of being talked around right now for filling in for Spider-Man: Dylan O'Brien and Logan Lerman. Now Dylan O'Brien.
Oh, Logan Lerman. Okay.
Now one of these guys, I believe it's Dylan O'Brien. Whichever one was in the Maze thing, I think.
Maze Runner.
Yeah, he was in this thing that you gotta check out called Charlie Brown. It was the thing that's on Funny or Die. Charlie Brown, Blockhead's Revenge.
Okay.
Really funny. Point is, it's really dark. It's kind of funny. It's a little funny. The short thing. Point is, he plays Charlie Brown, and it's kind of funny. The point is that both of these guys, I knew pretty much nothing about them. Again, the only thing I've seen with
Well,
one
Logan
of them
Lerman was in Perks of Being a Wallflower, so that was a pretty big role for him.
here's what I can. Just looking at the guys, they both look like they can pull it off. So
Unfortunately, Miles Teller is in Fantastic Four, or else I'd suggest him.
I can't really think of anyone because for me, Andrew Garfield was perfect. But I mean, these other guys. Plus, people are speculating the Kingsman guy. I mean, he looks the part.
Oh yeah, people have been speculating about that. That would be okay.
I mean, I'd like to see him. Probably have to wait for it. But I'm just saying, looking at trailers, he looks like he'd be good for it. But,
right, yeah.
And let me just shoot everyone down on this right now. People have always been throwing Miles Morales. Guys, Miles Morales is a cool character, but come on. We're waiting all these, not 75 years, that's been the beginning of the Marvel company, but
That's the African-American Spidey, right?
Yes, that's the Ultimate Spider-Man's, basically after
Okay, what if they didn't do Miles Morales, but what if they just did an African-American Peter Parker?
Well, still, I mean, I've waited all these years. Why can't we just get the Spider-Man we all know and love? We finally have him in the right hands. Let's in the Marvel hands.
I'm just saying because people have been tossing out African-American actors too, and I actually think that's pretty legitimate.
Yeah, Will Smith was tossed around way back in the day.
Well, fuck Will Smith. I'm not talking about Will Smith. I'm talking about, like, young, up-and-coming African-American actors. Like, there's this one guy on... I think he's on Community. Another Chris Pratt thing. Or I'm sorry, Chris Pratt was Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, this guy was on Community. They've been tossing him around. They've been tossing around several people. And honestly, like, I don't know. I personally think it'd be an interesting way to go to do an African American Peter Parker. But I just don't see why race would have to play a role if the actor is good, if he can pull off the role, and of course if they get a good Aunt May too, that would be a whole other issue. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, just get whoever's right, regardless of race or whatever. Just get the best Peter Parker.
Yeah. I don't want to be this guy. I just want to point out that the only reason I'm
you don't want to be the guy who doesn't want people based on skin color to be Peter Parker.
Well, I'm just saying because we're not in an era right now where people are smart enough to realize, be in the mindset, what if we took this actor we liked in the previous movie, put him in a new movie, just call him.
What about Fantastic Four though?
What? Can I finish?
Okay.
It's a shame we can't live in an era right now where we can have like someone from who we liked in a previous movie and bring him in for a new movie. Just say it's a different kind of movie, but we like this guy. We can't have that, and basically the consensus would be people see a black Spider-Man, they're going to think, wait a minute, he's not black in the comics. Oh wait, he is in the Ultimate Comics. They're going to assume it's Miles Morales.
Oh, okay, I see your point.
That's what
because they do have the black character in the comics, right? Okay.
That's the only thing. Plus, for me personally, I like accuracy as far as you can get. Which don't get me wrong, at times when you get
I don't mean to be all high and mighty about this issue. I've just seen a couple black actors suggested that I actually really like. So
yeah. Anyway, so the point is there are some good people being thrown around for Spider-Man role. I can't really pin a face to it right now. I'm just saying, looking at them, some of the people who suggest look like they could be pulled off the role, but we'll see.
Again, I would love Miles Teller. It's a shame he's wrapped up with Fantastic Four.
Who's Miles Teller is going to be in Fantastic Four?
Miles Teller's going to be Reed Richards.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry.
That kid's going places, man. After Whiplash, I am telling you, that kid is going places.
We'll see. Yeah, and also there are some funny casting choices like Dave Franco, James Franco's brother.
Oh, Dave Franco?
Yeah,
I would be kind of down for that, actually.
That was more fan speculation, but still.
I mean, surprisingly, yeah, I could actually see that.
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, he doesn't look again, acting wise, I've seen him in a few things. He was good in Now You See Me. Don't get me wrong, That was him in
I
that.
like him in most everything. I actually think he's relatively underrated.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure I see him for Spidey. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, so
I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about seeing his brother as Tommy Wiseau and then seeing him as Mark. We'll have to see where that goes.
Wait a second. Are you serious? They're actually playing those roles?
Yes. James Franco is going to be Tommy Wiseau, and then Dave Franco is going to be Greg Sestero, a.k.a. Mark.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool.
I know. I cannot wait for that movie, man.
Okay, but back on topic. So here's more. Now we're getting to the speculation for the reboot itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that's pretty much all on table, definitely for confirmation and stuff. Confirmation and pretty much it's a little up in the air right now, but the rest of that's pretty much concerned. Now here's the thing we're just completely speculating on. So in terms of the reboot, I have three directors in mind. Off the top of my head, Matthew Vaughn. He's my top choice.
That'd be good. Yeah, for sure.
He's talented. He knows how to do a grounded kind of superhero thing, like where we root for like a young guy going out there as a hero trying to make a difference. I think he's definitely got the chops for it. He does a great job, especially the colorful. He brings a colorful world to life. I think he's definitely a guy to go to for this.
Okay.
The other two are more so personal things, what I think are justified. Again, out of all these, Matthew Vaughn has the best shot of it, but we'll see. Mark Andrews would be my next choice because he actually worked on the Raimi Spider-Man as a storyboard action guy.
What's he directed?
Brave. He's worked on The Incredibles. He's a Pixar guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark Andrews. He's one of Brad Bird's guys.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, he knows action. Like, if you're looking for action, he's your guy, and he worked on the action for the original Spider-Man movies, both of them.
Okay.
The Raimi movies, not the third one.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, he knows what he's talking about. Plus, he gets some good family dynamics as we see in Brave. So I think definitely he's a guy to go to. He's an underrated guy to go to for this.
Okay.
Yeah, then Dave Bullock. Dave Bullock's a personal choice for me. Dave Bullock, I've met Dave Bullock a lot of times. Really good. He's always had ideas in mind for an animated Spider-Man show of his own. He worked on Spectacular Spider-Man, so he's got his credentials there. He knows he knows the character. He's directed animation a lot, so I mean, I give him like the fair leap from like how we've seen Andrew Stanton and Brad Bird tackle their live action debuts. I'd give Dave Bullock a shot.
All right. I mean, I haven't really thought much about director just because it's so fresh in my mind, but I've actually got two in mind. I've got two, and to tell you the truth, they're both kind of dream directors that I doubt would actually do it.
Is it Spielberg?
No, it's not fucking Spielberg. I don't even really care for modern day Spielberg that much.
I like classic though.
My biggest one would probably be Brad Bird himself.
Oh, of course. I put Mark Andrews on there. Otherwise, I put Brad Bird and Bryan Cranston are my go-tos for acting and directing.
Right.
You want Catwoman? Get Bryan Cranston. You want the Citizen Kane remake?
Fantastic. He already has superheroes under his belt. He can work really good with that kind of tone, make a really colorful atmosphere. I think Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol proves that he's really good with action in a live-action setting. So, yeah, I think he'd be a great choice. The only question is, would he actually do it?
Yeah, you want the Citizen Kane remake? Get Brad Bird for it.
Okay. And then my other choice is I'm gonna have to look up this guy's name really quick. But
I support Brad Bird fully, but again, it's a question of whether you take it on or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
the guy turned down Star Wars.
Dream choice for it.
I mean,
but then again, I mean, I got to admit that what's his name? Frickin' the Fly guy, Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson was my number 2 pick for Star Wars, ironically enough, behind freaking Brad Bird.
I considered him too.
Look what happened with that. We got that.
I considered him too. Just really busy.
Dreams can come true sometimes.
Okay.
Anyways, my second choice would be Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, and this is the guy that directed this year's Birdman. I would love to see this guy take on an actual frickin' superhero movie after Birdman. Birdman is like the thinking man's like art house cerebral filmmaking sort of superhero movie. after making Birdman, I would love to see what he would do with an actual superhero movie on a big budget like that. I think he's a fantastic director. I think Birdman is honestly, every time I see it, I just like it more and more and more. It might be #1 for 2014 for me, so give me Alejandro Navarro. Again, he's kind of an art house guy. I don't really know if he'd go for something like Spider-Man, but if he would, I think it'd be a fantastic fit.
What about Wes Anderson? You think he could do it?
What?
I'm just curious. What do you think about Wes Anderson? You think he could do it?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Wes Anderson.
No. Shit, my sound. Oh God.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. Oh dear. Oh
what
dear.
do you think?
Are you saying that seriously?
I'm asking you. I'm just the novice. I mean, I saw Grand Budapest Hotel. It looked like a great film, and
I mean, people joke about Wes Anderson directing blockbuster movies like that. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, look up on Conan O'Brien. They did this Wes Anderson audition for Star Wars, and it's absolutely priceless.
Well, do you think he has the chops to do like an earnest superhero film?
Honestly, I think he's another Edgar Wright. He is a director that works very much in his comfort zone, that works very much in his wheelhouse, very much in his own style. I don't think he would do it.
Well, to be honest with you, I had a really out there initial directing choice, but I fear I don't want to just classify him like this is the reason he's out of it. But I don't think he'd do it this one because of this. I think he's a little old for it. Richard Donner.
Oh man! Oh God!
Now,
that would be something.
I know. I mean, I say it because the guy—he's a very talented director, and of course, what he did for Superman.
And
I think
Spider-Man is like the all-American superhero.
That's what I'm saying. I think I would give him all the credit in the world for doing it. I'd love to see what he would do with it. I don't think he'd do it because he doesn't seem to be directing that much lately. He's more producing than directing. There's a reason he's in his 80s. I mean, again, it's not that I
mean, yeah, if they could get him back for like one last film and do Spider, that would be incredible.
Yeah, I'm just saying I give him the credit in the world. I just don't think he himself would want to do it. Or at least be up for it at this point. Again, I don't want to just throw him out there because of his age, but no, because he's really good. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's all I got for director. So I guess we're going on to like what vibe and basically the vibe and checklist we would like to see in terms of like generally for the movie.
Okay, well you gotta have J. Jonah Jameson in there because one of the biggest sins that the Amazing Spider-Man films committed was just completely omitting him.
And J.K. Simmons recently said, he'd be more than willing to return if they'd have him.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons said he'd be more than willing to return if they'd have him, and
I would love for J.K. Simmons to reprise this role. And I would freaking love that.
He kind of implied that you never say never when in terms of like someone asking you think you'd ever wouldn't. Basically, he implied that he might be working on something with that.
There's no one else. There's no one else you can get for that role.
No, Ed Asner voiced him really well, but again, voice and
yeah.
Well, there is actually one person that was thrown out there as more of a comedy pick, but I think he actually could do it. I'm not saying not as well as J.K. Simmons, but Ralph Garman.
That would be good, actually. Yeah, I could
People
see
throw
that.
him out there. He would be actually. If I'm saying you can't get J.K. Simmons, I'd say he actually could be pretty good.
Didn't Stan Lee for a while say he wanted to play J. Jonah Jameson?
He always said that. He says, I always wanted to play J. Jonah Jameson. And in the original James Cameron, although back in those days, he was going to play him, I think.
Oh God! Oh my! I would have loved to see that.
I believe
pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, so let's go through a checklist again. Checklist of stuff we want. Obviously, not to go on all rant about it like before, but Rich, no more origin. We got it.
Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty much just okay. Reference it in some way, then just move on. Like don't read.
Incredible Hulk it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Perfectly. Incredible Hulk or do like an awesome montage somehow.
Yeah.
Like Captain America almost.
Well, what do you think of my idea of starting it kind of like in the aftermath of Ben's death when he's had his powers for a while, but he doesn't quite know what to do with them yet?
Well, let me ask you: this is after this is after the suit, right? I
After
mean,
what?
this is after he's developed, like he's sewn together the suit, right?
Well, yeah, right.
Well, there actually is a really cool. Well, like, it's been a long time since I've read it, but there's actually a story of that exact same premise of Spider-Man. It's in the realm of like he was with the wrestling thing a little longer. Like he was building a career on, and people knew him like, oh, Spider-Man, yeah, that guy. And I'm saying there is some room there of what an alternative aftermath of way of going about it. So you got a point there. Might be something interesting there.
Okay.
Especially for a Marvel movie, kind of re-exploring the Spider-Man. That'd be more so, again, fitting him into a Marvel film before you fully explore that might be a little tricky. But if it was, if they kind of changed the timeline, maybe you saw his origin, well, quote unquote, his actual full introduction.
Right.
And you had it from that point. That'd be an interesting place to go about it. It's not a bad idea.
Okay.
Again, overall, in terms of a vibe, I wanted to go for a spectacular Spider-Man vibe, the cartoon, which is really great. It had the perfect amount of the '60s Stan Lee, Steve Ditko Spider-Man, but modernized it to a point where basically, even a lot of the ideas in Amazing Spider-Man came from that series.
Mm-hmm.
Like the origin of Electro, basically dropping in a tank of Electro.
Sure.
That's and basically Oscorp being behind a lot of the bad guys. That's
right. Yeah.
So really, Spectacular Spider-Man is definitely the big model they want for that. Again, Dave Bullock worked on that, so I mean, perfect vibe to go for. If they can capture anything Spectacular Spider-Man, it'll be perfect.
Okay.
Again, so quickly sum up the origin. Use the Sinister Six if the film is in fact canceled.
I would disagree with introducing them in the first film.
Really? Well, I'm saying I'm saying do that.
Yeah, I would,
instead.
because this is just like, let's not make the same mistake that the last two Spider-Man movies made. Have him fight one villain for the first film.
No, what I'm saying is, think about this, Tiki. You don't want to see him do Green Goblin again, do you?
No, I want to see them do Venom.
Well, yeah, but Venom, you need some stuff built before you can do Venom.
Okay, fine. You want to run down some of my choices for a villain? Okay. We haven't seen Mysterio yet. I would love to do Mysterio. Let's see. I would love a Kraven the Hunter. There's plenty of standalone villains we could get.
There are standalones. I'm saying for Spider-Man, one of the big hooks is like if he's going to face off against. Think about this: if you're going to see Spider-Man done right and perfectly off the page, as Marvel we know can do. If you're gonna see, wouldn't you love to see the six hugely iconic villains that aren't the Green Goblin? True, Doc Ock's there, yes, but then we've seen a lot of these guys already. But seeing
I think you really need to build these characters up. I would go as far as to say save Sinister Six for a third Marvel Spider-Man. I would go that far. Save it for a third Marvel Spider-Man. Save it for the end of the trilogy.
Well, fine. Okay, well, let me run these just individuals by you.
Okay.
So I'm saying it. I was a little ambiguous about that one because I don't know.
And I'm not saying like, of course, throughout the first two movies, sprinkle in clues. Build it up. Of course, do that. Have Otto Octavius in the first movie. As Otto Octavius, stuff like that.
Bear in mind, I'm being just make sure we get some good stuff Spider-Man on screen before it's too late.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to make sure in case any Sony renegades.
Well, again, we haven't seen Kraven's Last Hunt in film form yet, and I really am dying to see that. So
Kraven's Last Hunt, I'm just coming at this in terms of if we're gonna have Spider-Man. If we're gonna have Spider-Man on screen, we don't want to. How much of an introduction is this? It is pretty much an introduction to the guy, done right with the Marvel method. We don't want to just. It's kind of hard to go for like a hardcore Spider-Man story like Kraven's Last Hunt, or like a really hugely iconic story like Black Suit or Kraven's Hunt or something like that as your first one. Sinister Six, to me, I bring it up because I think it's a good introduction to like what Spider-Man's all about in terms of his really interesting foes and what his dynamic would be with them. I'm saying as an introduction to a consensus audience of the way he's done right.
I would just be worried about introducing all these new characters in there all at once, man. I'd be really worried.
Well, that
about
would be your way around getting that'd be a way of getting around the origin, the retelling of the origin, saying, okay, I'm Spider-Man, and he's facing the villains that we all know to heart. Basically, like a quick little bit of witty banter and dialogue explaining who these guys are, and then he's dealing with them.
Okay.
So I'm saying, I think, again, I'm respecting the audience here in terms of, we know these characters. Well, have some dialogue to explain the little odds and ends of these guys.
Yeah, we know the characters, but we don't know this version of Doc Ock. And the reason why we loved Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 is because we got to know him.
Right. I don't know, I think some good dialogue and some good dialogue banter, maybe some good story might give us that in place of...
And we've never seen some of the characters before. Like, we've never seen a Vulture on screen.
True. Alright, well...
So, I don't know.
In terms of Solo, here's what we could... In terms of war, like, characters that we haven't seen explored that I would like to see, like, put them all in movies, like, maybe some more feature than others.
Okay.
I'm thinking Mysterio definitely is the number one if I can now only have one villain in a movie.
I'm with you. I'd love to see Mysterio.
Again, when I took this, I was still on the fence about whether 6 is still on or not. So again, I put these guys are definitely the ones I would like to see. Mysterio, Scorpion, I really want to see Scorpion.
I've never been a huge Scorpion fan myself.
I know how I'd love to play Scorpion, and it is in the realm of possibility. I've always wanted to see Bradley Cooper play Scorpion.
Oh, that's...
Now, look, I'm just saying he did, and they're in talks of Vin Diesel playing a role aside from Groot. So I'm saying it is possible.
That's true.
I'm saying if that happens, why not Bradley Cooper as the
Okay.
So the point is, I always love the idea of the Scorpion. He is kind of a dark reflection, Spider-Man, to an extent of the Scorpion. He's also been genetically modified, but he's blatantly turned the crime. He robs banks, and I always figured there'd be kind of a cool banter between these. So, like, what if Scorpion was like kind of a guy who's like, oh, what if he was his bullseye, with the Daredevil? Almost. Like, he was the guy he would quit.
I guess I haven't really read a lot of Scorpion stuff from the comics.
The Scorpion has a really cool backstory, too. I mean, I'm not saying... I would say maybe not explain it too much, but again, I wouldn't mind seeing a Spider-Man who just like has banter with these guys, and that gives us our backstory.
Okay.
For these Spider-Man villains, and I figure like Scorpion always have like a rapport with the Spider-Man, of like saying, "Oh yeah, so you're up to this again." I figure like Scorpion would be his kind of his reoccurring bad guy, his Flint Marko, so to speak.
I can see that.
And then Chameleon would be kind of cool to see. If you're going to have J. Jonah Jameson Raylan the Spider-Man, let's give him some reasons. Let's give the Chameleon frame up a bit. Vulture, of course. And, of course, the other one that we've all
Vulture, yeah, that's high up there.
And here's the one we've been desperate to see, Shocker.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with you. I think Shocker is a B-grade knockoff of Electro, and I actually really don't like that character.
Well, Shocker's always the go-to villain of terms like you have a quick one-and-done fight with.
Right, okay, yeah.
I'm saying in terms of that, like just bring him in just to see how cool he is.
I always thought Rhino was kind of that.
Yeah, same thing, but I'd be trepid. I picked these villains in particular. These.
I mean, no, I agree with you. Like, after Spider-Man 2, let's wait a little bit with Rhino.
That's what I'm saying. I picked these characters in particular because we haven't seen them on screen yet. And,
right.
And I'm also really worried that the deal with Sony is going to be, well, we already use these guys, we're not going to reboot them to confuse people. I'm afraid that's going to be the mentality. Otherwise, again, maybe reintroduce them, have like Ryan being kind of a cool natural suit Marvel could pull off.
Yeah, of course.
But I picked those guys that they could reasonably be rationed in there. I have some ideas how to do that.
Okay.
So I got three ways, unless you want to jump in here with some ideas you have.
Well, I mean, I very much have general ideas. Like, again, I have to go back to Kraven. I mean, I'd love to see a Kraven the Hunter standalone film. I definitely think he's a strong enough villain to warrant a standalone film. I mean, that's all I got, I guess.
Well, don't get me wrong. Again, I think Kraven would be a great story to that, and they have him have his own movie. Yeah, sure, he meets Spider-Man, he hunts him, and then it just leads to the Kraven's Last Hunt battle.
I'm not even saying do Kraven's Last Hunt. I'm just saying have him in there.
I'm saying you could have kind of like a quasi Kraven's Last Hunt towards the end there, of like he's kind of lures him to like a whole world's most dangerous game.
Right.
In the third act of like
I love Kraven.
What if
he's such a cool character.
Let me run this by. Okay, so they meet each other first act. Second act, they do battle in the end of the second act. As Spider-Man gets knocked unconscious, he wakes up in Africa.
Oh, okay.
And then it's just like creating a set of speakers or something, or maybe it's like a biodome in like in New York or something. I don't know. The point is that he wakes up when he thinks it's Africa.
Right.
I will hunt you, Spider-Man. When I find you, I will hang your pelt on my wall.
Back in the day, like, before he got too old, I always used to think Danny Trejo could make a great Kraven. I mean, he's too old now, but back in the day, back like 10, 12 years ago, like back when the original Raimi trilogy was going strong.
I don't know, I've always thought he's got to be a Russian Kraven. That's awesome.
Okay, so what are some of your ideas? Let's kind of try and wrap this up.
Sure. So Marvel, again, just kind of fully embracing the Marvel rat here, basically taking advantage of the stuff we have in this universe. I think the main thing of this film should be we see Spider-Man as a young kid trying to make a difference in the world. We have our classic hallmarks of facing the challenges of everyday life. Aunt who can't meet the bills, loss of Uncle Ben. So you don't go through the origin, but it's like you're right, kind of the aftermath of the origin.
Yeah,
So
I think that
not
would be
as
a really
fresh.
good place to go.
Not as fresh, but I'm saying like maybe a few months have passed is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying like pick it up like a week after his funeral for sure.
So I'm saying like we're in the class again. If he's gonna be in high school, let's go with the classic kind of Ditko Stanley. Because I always love those stories. The classic route with that. But he's trying to make a difference. He's still early in his career, but he's met a lot of villains though. Implied, like we don't meet a lot of these ones. Points he's done, and also it'd be funny if they don't just use Mary Jane. Also, I want to point that out. Use Mary Jane as the love interest, unless you're going to go kind of the Archie and Veronica route. Maybe that's how you work in Gwen Stacy, if like he's fusing between the two.
I think it's too soon to do Gwen Stacy again, man. You're not going to top Emma Stone.
Well, if you're taking that to high school, you kind of need Gwen Stacy. That's the thing. The point is, here's what I'm.
That's
here's
really
what I'm suggesting is if they maybe had the classic thing you always I really liked about Spider-Man is like he has all these wonderful women in his life. He's got Mary Jane. Basically, Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy kind of fighting over from like Betty and Veronica, perhaps, like playfully. And also, if he's in high school, introduce characters like Liz Allen and of course my favorite, Betty Brant.
Yeah. Give Betty Brant a more prominent role. That'd be great.
I love me some Betty Brant. She's awesome.
Because she was really nothing more than an extended cameo in the Raimi movies.
But they got such a great person to play her too. Anyways, we didn't get anything until a little reference in Spider-Man 3. That anything going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is, there's that. Here's the big lesson of the movie. See, if you're gonna justify what the story be, Spider-Man, he's going into is our street level hero, young kid trying to make a difference, and yet he's faced with organized supercrime as his main obstacle. And who else to lead that than our character, who I am sure will not be killed off in the Daredevil series because that'd be stupid. The Kingpin.
Okay.
Again, let's take advantage of it.
Dumb for them to kill him off. Yeah.
Let's take advantage of it. So we have the Kingpin, and we can use him like classic animated series Spider-Man of him being the Kingpin of crime. And
I like that.
So again, Spider-Man, he thinks he's just doing a good like a guy on the street thing, and then he realizes there's something big afoot here, and it's the Kingpin. Realizes who's this Spider-Man fiddling with my operations? Send someone basically. You have the Scorpion in there that's doing his regular bank robbing thing, perhaps. Maybe he's an agent of the Kingpin, and Spider-Man stops and says, who are you working for? I can't tell you that. And then maybe he just randomly, this one not really connected to Kingpin, he just randomly foils the Vulture. He's like a little, just getting us from point A to point B. He foils the Vulture. We'll see him again someday. And maybe the Shocker is sent to kill Spider-Man.
Okay.
They as per the Kingpin, saying in the
I mean, if you're gonna have the Shocker in there, just have him as like you're right. Just have him as like a single fight. I think. Yeah,
exactly. As a single fight, just he's sent to Spider-Man. Obviously, Spider-Man stops Shocker. But then the Kingpin's realizing, I'm gonna ruin his reputation, get him out of my hair, make my enemy into the actual enemy. So he has the chameleon. He hires the chameleon to frame him and get the Daily Bugle on his butt.
Right.
And then maybe your big heavy hitter is somehow Mysterio.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like the series contracted by the Kingpin somehow, and then basically your ending would be by the end you're rooting for Spider-Man, enduring all these foes, and you're rooting for this young, idealistic kid to come out on top against the Kingpin, and the Kingpin at the end would have kind of a mixed ending where he would say he would educate him in the way of the world, saying you're part of a bigger world. Now, I control the whole criminal empire you didn't even know about.
Okay.
And then maybe also your quasi post-credit scene would be Daredevil also kind of saying you're part of a big world, kid.
Ooh.
You're dealing with Wilson Fisk here. The point is, like Daredevil, after whatever we see him do in this series, he'd be pointing out how dangerous kid. But look, the world is a lot bigger than you think it is. If you've seen the Avengers, you'll know nothing what's going on in Hell's Kitchen. You'll know what's going on there.
Sure.
And if not that, then maybe again I didn't even touch on Harry Osborn. It's like Norman Osborn's revealed post credit. I'm saying like, what if you if they sell you on what's going on here? Basically, again, if the Kingpin's mentioning your bigger things going on here, and you realize Norman Osborn will be like revealed to be at the end, like he's again not the Green Goblin or anything, just he's behind a lot of stuff too.
Sure.
Okay, option two.
I actually really want to see Norman Osborn in the Iron Patriot suit.
Well, we could get away with. Oh, what if he hijacked roadies?
Because honestly, when I saw the Iron Patriot suit for the first time in those stills, I was like, wait, does this mean that we're getting a Spider-Man crossover?
No, not for a moment did I think that.
I was dumb for a second.
Okay, option two is real simple. Just again, I say I think it could be done. I'll say audiences could be smart enough just to say we know who these guys are, but basically working the Sinister Six as pretty established relationship with Spider-Man. Sorry, I'm not reading through my notes here. Stupid. Facial. Maybe have the Kingpin be the one who hired the Sinister Six to deal with Spider-Man, perhaps. So the point is, they fit the Sinister Six in there. Spider-Man's facing a challenge, and to put it simply, he's facing the Sinister Six. It's a good kind of colorful intro into the Spider-Man universe.
Okay.
It'd be like a fun action set piece. He faces them, he learns something, and maybe Kingpin's behind, or maybe he's not.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an idea. It's a simple idea. I think it'd just be fun to see a Sinister Six on screen. If they sell you well enough in dialogue, we know Whedon can do, certainly. I know.
That's true.
I know Whedon's probably not going to be working on this. I'm just saying there's always hope in Marvel to sell you on some really out there ideas.
Well, I mean, there is Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't know.
I give him a shot at Sinister Six, to be honest. Assuming Sinister Six isn't happening off screen somewhere.
Yeah. Oh God. Let's hope.
Okay.
Not.
Option three. Option three. I mean, since you're not gonna like, I think it's more of a joke. But
really quick.
Option three is pretty much like, what if we have like an all-out tribute to Spider-Man? It's just like we have the Daily Bugle giving kind of a skewed history on the Spider-Man up to this point. So it's a fully established Spider-Man. He's just giving a history like, this Walt Carl is a menace, and he's fought these villains and whatnot. And pretty much that'd be our fun interest Spider-Man. We see him foiling some bad guys.
I actually think that'd be a really good way to kind of like go over the backstory.
Yeah. And basically, we get a sense of his impact on the city and the villains that he's sending some to prison. There's a prison breakout that he's foiling, and then here's part where I gotta pull the rug out from under you.
Okay.
I'm not sure how this one character would fit into this because what's going to happen in Civil War, but
right.
What if I think you might like this? Venom has a big role in this. Venom tries to escape prison. What if Maximum Carnage happens?
Okay.
So basically, we see Spider-Man send some villains to prison. We think, okay, all is well. Not much to this movie. But then Venom tries to break out in this attempt, and then of course the classic thing happens: cuts himself. The Venom gets in there, and then it goes to this really crazy guys in the prison, Clueless Cassidy, and Carnage is born. He's wreaking havoc all over the place. And he teams up with Black Cat.
I mean, yeah, I'm all over any sort of Venom Carnage action. Because I am just a total Venom Carnage fanboy.
Everyone's got some love for Maximum Carnage. So I'm saying he teams up with Black Cat, Venom himself, and they just show you he would be teaming up with Venom in the movie to stop Carnage. Maybe Falcon, the Prowler, and Captain America.
Well, assuming Cap's fate in Cap 3.
Well, I mean, we know who would be his replacement. Come on.
Who's he replaced by? I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You know.
Who?
Bucky.
Oh, Bucky, right. I'm sorry, I don't read the comics like you do.
It's really obvious, though.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so the point is, like, oh, so maybe obviously I gotta throw this last one in there as a gag. What if Coulson also joined the fight? Because it'd be cool.
Oh, God.
What if we settled all this Coulson business? No one knows he's alive yet. What if we just throw him in there as part of Yeah, I mean he's in that crappy Ultimate card. Let's put him to some good use.
Oh dear. So
I'm just saying, so again, just in essence, basically starts off as kind of like an ultimate tribute to Spider-Man. What do we do with an ultimate tribute? We have the Maximum Carnage story in there, showing him going up. We think Spider-Man has a grasp on this crazy world, but then we throw Maximum Carnage at him.
Right.
And he teams up with some notable characters like Black Cat, Venom, Captain America, Falcon. I'm just throwing out some names. Definitely Black Cat.
I mean, I definitely think that Carnage and Venom would be a good way to go if you want to really... Like, I almost think that would be, like, kind of like play... Like, I think that Venom is, like, the equivalent to your Joker card, and I feel like you play your Joker card in the sequel. But if they do want to get the butts in the seat as much as possible, anything with Venom and Carnage is an event. So yeah, I think that would be a good way to go.
And let me give you the post.
I almost think that it'd be more appropriate for a sequel.
Sure.
Tone-wise,
all these ideas I've thrown out there would also be good for sequels, especially your ideas too. Would also be great for sequels. But again, I'm just trying to sell us on the thing first and foremost, so we definitely don't squander our golden opportunity here.
Of course. If
we're gonna get Spider-Man on screen, we gotta make it count.
All right. So
one last thing: post-credit scene. I don't know if this could be for anything though. Just again, it'd be kind of a cool post-credit scene. I don't know how it would work given how Age of Ultron's probably going to turn out, but at the end, what if Tony Stark comes in and says, "Hey kid, you're part of a bigger universe right now."
Again, my whole thing is that I think Peter Parker's going to have to work his ass off to get into the Avengers.
Well, maybe it's not the Avengers. Well, I'm saying if they do the Maximum Carnage thing, perhaps it's like he proved himself for the Avengers. But I threw it at the point, it could just be him educating you're part of a bigger universe. Like he's going to let him into the fold a little bit.
Okay.
The point is just Tony Stark, basically being like an inside joke. Hey, Tony Stark's
or maybe Tony Stark kind of like cryptically like saying something about a job interview, which might lead into the whole Hulk storyline with the Avengers.
But also it could be just at the end, it'd be kind of maybe a fun gag, just like Tony Stark essentially welcoming Spider-Man to the Marvel Universe.
Right.
Hey kid, welcome. Okay, so bottom line, folks, 2017, we're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor 3, and Spider-Man finally.
Isn't Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out like in Spider-Man coming out with like a month of each other?
Yes. That's
insane. That like, oh my god, that's insane.
And then Thor 3, which essentially is the Apocalypse tale.
Oh god. Right. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of Marvel, and all we can hope for is that that weird abortion that is the Sinister Six movie completely gets flushed down the toilet. I really hope so, because it'd just be so odd. It'd be so odd if that movie actually happens at this point. So any words to wrap up BlueDragonFive?
Sure, two things. Just one, it'd be great also if in the score they could somehow work in the thwip noise.
The what?
The thwip sound effect. You know, his web slinging sound effect into the score somehow.
Right.
I'm saying it might be a cool idea for like maybe plays underneath it all. You have like the web spinning thwip sound effect. But more importantly, this gives me hope for maybe one day Fantastic Four. When the Fantastic Four movie most likely more chances than none goes south. Marvel has its doors open.
We'll see. People are high on the trailer, so we'll see.
Look, Marvel's trying. Marvel's always got their gears moving, so it makes me hopeful for the future. All our Marvel heroes, our big extended Marvel family, that one day they'll all be under the same roof. And Spider-Man has earned his place.
I think Fox can keep X-Men just because I think at that point it'd just be way too crowded if Marvel had all of X-Men.
Oh, of course. I'm saying it'd be great if they could somehow get a timeshare thing, maybe with Deadpool. Be kind of cool.
Right.
So not even so we can have his own movie, just so we can pop in and just say hello now and again. Just walk by. Anyway, so the point is, Marvel House of fantastic ideas such as bringing our beloved wall-crawling web slinger to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a place of quality, a place where he most deservedly should be.
Indeed.
No matter how many stretch of time, he should definitely be there.
All right, so yeah, so that'll do it. All we can do is hope. All we can do is kind of wait and see. Hope that Kevin Feige has more influence than Sony does, and just hope for a good product. In the meantime, bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.